Respiration. Respiration refers to the biochemical process by which cells produce energy from organic compounds such as glucose, using oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide as a byproduct. This energy is used by cells for various functions such as growth, movement, and metabolism. There are two main types of respiration: aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen and occurs in the mitochondria of eukaryotic cells. During aerobic respiration, glucose is broken down through a series of biochemical reactions, producing ATP adenosine triphosphate, which is the primary energy currency of cells. The byproducts of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide and water. Anaerobic respiration, on the other hand, does not require oxygen and occurs in the cytoplasm of cells. This type of respiration is less efficient than aerobic respiration and produces lactic acid or alcohol as byproducts. Respiration is essential for life and occurs in all living organisms, from simple unicellular organisms to complex multicellular organisms. It plays a critical role in maintaining the metabolic needs of the organism and ensuring that cells have sufficient energy to carry out their functions. Importance of respiration. Respiration is of fundamental importance for all living organisms, as it is the primary means by which cells produce energy in the form of ATP. Here are some of the key reasons why respiration is so important. 1. Energy production. Respiration is the primary process by which cells produce ATP, the molecule that provides energy for cellular functions. 2. Maintaining metabolic homeostasis. Respiration is critical for maintaining the metabolic balance of cells and organisms. Metabolism encompasses all biochemical reactions in cells that allow life processes to occur, and respiration is the key process that produces the energy needed to drive these reactions. 3. Gas exchange. Respiration also plays a crucial role in the regulation of gas exchange between the body and the environment. During inhaling, oxygen is taken in, and during exhaling, carbon dioxide is released. 4. Cellular growth and repair. Respiration is essential for the growth and repair of tissues and organs within the body. Cells that rapidly divide and grow require high levels of energy and undergo high rates of respiration. 5. Exercise and physical activity. Physical activity and exercise can increase the body's requirement for energy, and thus increase the rate of respiration up to several-fold. Overall, respiration is a fundamental process that underpins many of the key functions required for life, including energy production, metabolism, and growth and repair. Site of respiration. The site of respiration varies depending on the organism and the type of respiration in question. In most eukaryotic organisms, aerobic respiration occurs primarily in the mitochondria, which are organelles within cells that are responsible for energy production. Anaerobic respiration occurs in the cytoplasm of cells. In plants, respiration occurs primarily in the mitochondria of cells, with some occurring in chloroplasts during photosynthesis. In prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria, respiration can occur in the cell membrane or in specialized structures called mesosomes. Some bacteria are capable of anaerobic respiration, which occurs in the cytoplasm of cells. In animals and humans, the primary site of gas exchange, where oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is released, is in the lungs through specialized respiratory structures called alveoli. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are organelles found in most eukaryotic cells, which are responsible for generating energy in the form of ATP through a process called cellular respiration. They are double membrane-bound organelles, with an outer and inner membrane, and have their own genetic material in the form of circular DNA, which is similar in structure to bacterial DNA. Key features of mitochondria include: 1. Energy production. Mitochondria are the primary site of cellular respiration, the process by which cells generate energy in the form of ATP. 2. ATP synthesis. ATP is synthesized in mitochondria through a process called oxidative phosphorylation, which involves the use of electrons derived from the breakdown of food molecules to generate an electrochemical gradient across the mitochondrial inner membrane. 3. Role in apoptosis. Mitochondria also play a role in programmed cell death, or apoptosis, by releasing pro-apoptotic proteins that trigger cell death pathways when necessary. 4. Calcium homeostasis. Mitochondria also maintain calcium ion homeostasis by taking up and releasing calcium ions as needed, which is important for cellular signaling and other functions. Overall, Mitochondria are crucial organelles that play a vital role in the generation of ATP and other key cellular processes. Description of the structure of mitochondria. Mitochondria are double membrane-bound organelles with a unique structure that make them well suited to their function as the primary site of cellular respiration. The structure of mitochondria can be divided into several key components. 1. Outer mitochondrial membrane. A porous membrane that encloses the entire organelle and separates it from the cytoplasm of the cell. 2. Intermembrane space. The space between the outer and inner membranes, and contains enzymes involved in energy transfer. 3. Inner mitochondrial membrane. A highly folded membrane that forms cristae, which increase the surface area of the inner membrane, and contains enzymes involved in cellular respiration. 4. Mitochondrial matrix. A fluid-filled space enclosed by the inner membrane that contains mitochondrial DNA, enzymes involved in the citric acid cycle, and ribosomes. 5. Mitochondrial DNA. Circular DNA that is separate from the nucleus and encoding genes necessary for mitochondrial function. In addition, mitochondria also contain their own unique ribosomes, called mitaribosomes, which are responsible for synthesizing proteins that are essential for mitochondrial function. Overall, the unique structure of mitochondria plays a crucial role in energy metabolism, cell signaling, and other important cellular processes. Fig. 5.10. Mitochondria. Types of respiration. There are two main types of respiration: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. 1. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen to produce energy in the form of ATP. It is the most common form of respiration and occurs in most eukaryotes. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm, and pyruvate is transported to the mitochondria, where the citric acid cycle and oxidative phosphorylation take place. The end result is the production of a large amount of ATP, which can be used by the cell for energy. The overall equation for aerobic respiration is glucose plus 6O2, 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy, as ATP. This equation shows that glucose and oxygen are reactants that are consumed, and the products of the reaction are carbon dioxide, water and energy in the form of ATP. This process occurs in multiple steps, starting with glycolysis in the cytoplasm, followed by the citric acid cycle and oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria. Conditions necessary for aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration requires the presence of oxygen and the production of ATP via the oxidation of glucose or other organic molecules. The conditions necessary for aerobic respiration are: 1. Oxygen. This is the primary and most essential requirement for aerobic respiration to occur. Oxygen is required as the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain, which occurs during oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria. 2. Organic molecules. Aerobic respiration requires the use of organic molecules, such as glucose, as a source of energy. 3. Mitochondria. The organelles responsible for cellular respiration, mitochondria, must be present in cells to produce ATP via aerobic respiration. 4. Enzymes and cofactors. Aerobic respiration requires various enzymes and cofactors such as NAD+ and FAD+ in the citric acid cycle and electron transport chain processes. Overall, aerobic respiration requires the presence of oxygen and the right conditions to produce energy in the form of ATP. Factors which affect the rate of respiration. The rate of respiration can be influenced by a number of factors which are as follows. 1. Temperature. Respiration rate generally increases with an increase in temperature up to an optimal temperature range, after which it starts decreasing and can eventually stop. This is because the enzymes involved in respiration have an optimum temperature range, beyond which they start to denature. 2. Substrate concentration. The rate of respiration increases with an increase in the concentration of the substrate, e.g. glucose, up to a certain point, after which it does not increase further as the enzymes get saturated and cannot work any faster. 3. Oxygen concentration. Aerobic respiration rate is directly proportional to the oxygen concentration, so an increase in oxygen concentration can lead to an increase in the rate of respiration. 4. pH. The rate of respiration can be affected by the pH of the environment, as the enzymes involved in respiration have an optimum pH range at which they work most efficiently. 5. Inhibitors. Various factors can inhibit the enzymes involved in respiration, such as poisons, alcohol, and certain drugs. 6. Exercise and metabolic state. The rate of respiration can be influenced by the metabolic state of the organism or tissue, such as during periods of intense exercise or in fasting states where glucose levels are low. Overall, the rate of respiration can be influenced by various internal and external factors, and understanding these factors can help to optimize energy production in organisms. 2. Anaerobic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen, and is a less efficient process that produces less ATP than aerobic respiration. It is used by some organisms that live in environments with low oxygen concentrations, such as in deep-sea hydrothermal vents, or in environments with high levels of competition for oxygen, such as during intense exercise in humans. In anaerobic respiration, glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm as in aerobic respiration, but the end products of glucose are either lactic acid or ethanol, and only a small amount of ATP is produced. Overall, the type of respiration used by a cell or organism is largely dependent on the availability of oxygen and the energy requirements of the organism. Revision Exercise 5.4. 1. What is respiration? Respiration is the process by which organisms produce energy in the form of ATP adenosine triphosphate, from glucose or other organic molecules. Respiration involves the breakdown of these molecules, which releases their stored energy, generates ATP, and produces metabolic waste products like carbon dioxide and water. In most organisms, respiration occurs in cells, and there are two main types: aerobic respiration, which requires oxygen, and anaerobic respiration, which can occur in the absence of oxygen. 2. Identify the site of respiration in living organisms. Respiration occurs in cells of living organisms. In eukaryotic organisms such as humans, plants, and animals, respiration occurs mainly in the mitochondria, which are the cellular organelles responsible for energy production. In prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria, respiration also occurs in the cell but not in mitochondria as they lack these organelles. Instead, respiration occurs in the cytoplasm and the cell membrane of bacterial cells. 3. Write a balanced equation that summarizes aerobic respiration. The balanced equation that summarizes aerobic respiration is C6H12O6, glucose, plus 6O2, oxygen, 6CO2, carbon dioxide, plus 6H2O, water, plus 3638 ATP. This equation represents the complete oxidation of glucose molecules in the presence of oxygen, which yields carbon dioxide, water, and a large amount of ATP energy. The exact number of ATP molecules produced can vary depending on different factors such as the type of organism and the efficiency of energy conversion. 4. What are the conditions necessary for aerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration requires several conditions to occur. 1. Oxygen. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen to act as the final electron acceptor in the electron transport chain, which leads to the formation of ATP. 2. Glucose. Aerobic respiration requires a source of glucose or other organic molecules that can be oxidized to release energy. 3. Enzymes. The process of aerobic respiration requires a series of enzymes to catalyze the various reactions involved in the breakdown of glucose. 4. Mitochondria. In eukaryotic organisms, aerobic respiration occurs in the mitochondria, which are the cellular organelles responsible for energy production. 5. Adequate pH and temperature. Enzyme-catalyzed reactions are highly temperature and pH dependent, so the environment in which aerobic respiration occurs must be optimal for the enzymes to function efficiently. Overall, the conditions necessary for aerobic respiration are oxygen, glucose, enzymes, mitochondria, and optimal temperature and pH. 5. List the factors that affect the rate of respiration. Several factors can affect the rate of respiration. 1. Temperature. The rate of respiration is usually highest at an optimal temperature, beyond which the rate decreases due to denaturation of enzymes. 2. Oxygen level. The availability of oxygen affects the rate of respiration, as oxygen is required for aerobic respiration, which produces more energy compared to anaerobic respiration in organisms that can undergo both. 3. Glucose availability. The amount of glucose available determines the rate of respiration, as glucose is the primary fuel source for respiration. 4. pH. The pH level influences the rate of respiration, as the enzymes that catalyze the various reactions involved in the process are highly pH dependent. 5. Presence of inhibitors. The presence of inhibitors can reduce the rate of respiration by inhibiting the activity of respiratory enzymes. 6. Surface area. The size of the respiratory surface area affects the rate of respiration, as a larger surface area allows for greater exchange of gases between the organism and the environment. Overall, the factors affecting the rate of respiration include temperature, oxygen level, glucose availability, pH, presence of inhibitors, and surface area.